Welcome to 915 Insiders out at Montwood High School with Coach Rangel. Coach Rangel, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Brent. How are you guys?
Hey, outstanding, man. I really appreciate you having me out here. The badging up in the place is wonderful. Some of the best I've seen in the 915. Told me all this is new in year one, and I'm really impressed. It looks beautiful out here. Hey, definitely a statement about your booster program, your coaches, and of course, overall, your parents that support those things as well. So again, hey, I appreciate you having me out here. Let's start it off. Hey, tell us again. I know we did your interview right after you took over. Walk me through it. Tell me again, and tell our watchers again, you know, what brought you into football, and then after that, how did you transition from playing into coaching?
So I started off playing football at Hillcrest Middle School. I was the first time I ever touched shoulder pads and a helmet. Played for a legendary guy down at Hillcrest, George Nunez. He just joined coach recorder staff at Bel Air. One of my mentors.
Just seen that. I just seen that.
That was a father figure to me. Got me playing. Him and Sal Flores. Those two guys that I cherish deeply got me into tackle football, right? Played there, played at Bel Air under Rick Soto, under Coach Tony Cervantes, the defensive coordinator, and then ex-head coach at Bel Air, and then for Bob Tharp. And when I finished playing, I didn't know if I wanted to continue to play. I did get a couple of offers to play at Eastern New Mexico Highlands, and Western, but I didn't know if it was for me. My dad suffered a stroke, and so that kept me kind of in town, grounded here with family. So I went to UTEP, started off with a criminal justice major, and then a phone call.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be law enforcement. I thought that was my path. And then one phone call changed my life. Coach Rick Soto asked, "Hey, I've got a spot at the middle school for you. If you go to UTEP, there's a program called the co-op program where you can attend school and coach at the middle school and see if you're interested."
Coach Recorder did that as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
So that's how we got started. Coach Robles as well.
Okay.
So got started that way. I went back to my stomping grounds at Hillcrest Middle School. Did 4 years with Coach Robles there, and a couple of guys that played with me at Bel Air. And then I did my student teaching at Del Valle, and that's where everything transformed. My old position coach in high school was Jesse Perales.
Okay, heard that name once or twice.
A couple of times, right?
Shout out to Coach Perales up at Name It For Us, excuse me.
And he's my mentor. You know, he brought me into the program with open arms. I finished my student teaching, had a job already before I even graduated. Interviewed, I had all my certifications done. Boom, got in at Del Valle. Did 10 phenomenal years there. You working with guys like Rick Fetty, Kevin Butler, Rudy Contreras, the head coach there now. Yeah. Neil Rutledge, Coach Famoligi, Eric Ramirez, Coach Alfred Montes, Steven Montes' dad.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of football from those guys, a lot of what to do, you know.
You don't even got to try with a lot of those names you just named. You probably get it through osmosis.
Absolutely.
You don't even got to try to learn. It just happens.
And so that was huge in shaping who I was, huge in shaping kind of what road I was kind of wanting to take, you know, teaching there for 10 years and immersing myself into that community.
Right.
Really made me feel like a part of that OFOD country, you know, that saying that they have down there. And that was really, really, you know, embedded into who I was as a man. And so when I got the opportunity to move up the ladder, I got that opportunity at Hanks High School under Jason Blair. I was a defensive coordinator there for 2 years. That's where I met Coach Garcia, the head coach at Horizon now, and formed a great friendship. We had actually met at an institute for a class like 10 years before that.
Okay.
And so when we got together, year one, man, we by district title, so we were excited. That connection was there. I had my son the following year. Coach Garcia, you know, meant so much to me, and how I transformed into this new role. You know, he became my son's goddad.
Okay.
And that connection just, you know, withstood time, right? And withstood that test. And then I got the opportunity to jump on board over here. And so I came over, and I already knew some of these guys, right? I knew our linebackers coach. I've known our linebackers coach since our college days. And that just kind of made everything a little easier, made that transition easy. Did 2 years as a defensive coordinator here at Montwood High School. And then last year was given the opportunity to take over.
Okay, boom. So we talked about a little bit, off camera. Me and you talked about your first year. You gave yourself a grade. I think you graded yourself way too hard. We won't share that number. But tell me, what do you think are some good 3 big takeaways you had from year one as a first time head coach?
First time head coach, number one, leadership is hard, man. Leadership is hard because everybody has an opinion and everybody critiques everything that you do without ever being involved in the day-to-day activities, right?
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing, and I'm never going to please anybody, and I think that was the hardest thing for me to come to grips with.
Yeah.
I'm not one to let people down, but I am one to kind of go not with the flow, but do what I think is right, even though it's not popular. And it's okay. And it's okay for people not to like me, because at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best, what I feel is best for this program. Right.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important thing. I think another takeaway is the environment is everything. You just mentioned how this is one of the top places you've been to. Man, this is all done in a year, and it was just vision. When we started it was just vision. If you had walked in here a year ago, you wouldn't recognize this place a year later. And it's just vision. And I think that kids buy into the person who is leading them first, and then they buy into the vision. But this is the fruits of our labor. Everything we talk about here, everything that we do at Mount Wood is all about, hey, what do I see myself doing and how am I going to get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our process. And we call it our road to the Rocky Top in whatever it is, whether it's football, academics, life, our social lives, whatever it is. Hey, to get to the Rocky Top, what is the step or what are the processes we have to do to get there?
Yeah.
And I think the final takeaway is buy-in is everything. Buy-in is everything. From the men who walk into this field house and take us out to the field, to the young men that walk into the locker room and lace them up for us, to the people who help us out in the cafeteria, to the people who help us out in our classroom, to our faculty, our staff, our administration, our community members. This community wants a winner. We're trying to do everything we can to make sure that happens, but buy-in is everything.
Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of hard going. Compliance is easy. Getting commitment is a little bit harder.
Yes, sir.
So that's a big one. So we talked about that. We got year one out of the way. Year two, 2024 campaign. What can we expect for the Montwood Rams?
Oh, you're gonna get what we are. You're gonna get toughest, hardest working, most competitive team in Texas. That's our brand. That's what we thrive on. That's our identity. You're gonna see us be a little bit faster, a little more up tempo, a little bit try to wear you down in different ways, offensively and defensively. You're going to get a little bit more exotic stuff. We're a very simple year one. We're going to throw in a couple of things that we kind of picked up along the way and just kind of bring it at you. We're going to dictate to you on offense. You're not going to dictate to us. A bigger just love for this place. This place was built on tradition. This place was built on excellence, and we want to continue that, and then just put our own touch. This class is a lot different than last year's class, and so they're going to bring their own style, their own swagger and confidence, and we're going to feed off of that.
Yeah. So tagging on to that, when you talk about this year's team, what it's going to look like. Tell me who are going to be your impact players. Who are those guys we're going to look for? Like we talked about, a lot of those guys, this name were in the paper, those guys all graduated, So tell me about who should we look for to hear from in your skill positions? Who are those guys going to be?
So we'll start on the back end on the defensive side.
Okay.
And Christian Signs, he's a returning starter. He's our safety. That guy is as fast as they come, one of the fastest guys in the city. And he comes down and he'll bring it.
Okay.
He goes both ways for us, right?
Okay.
Another guy on the defensive side is Aiden Salcedo. He's one of our linebackers, very athletic, quick, strong, fast. Another linebacker coming back for us is Jose Ita. If you see him, you'd be like, you don't play linebacker, man. You play safety or corner. No, he plays linebacker for us.
Hey, linebacker's about attitude first and foremost.
And he always tells us, hey, coach, my name is Ita, but the first 3 letters of Ita are H-I-T, which means I'm a hitter, man. I'm a hitter. So, he's coming back on the defensive line. We've got 2 really, really, really good returners, Josiah Calderon and Dylan Perez. And then just a stalwart up front, Octavio Contreras, man. And those guys, are going to do everything they can to get to the quarterback. We talk about creating havoc, and making plays as in many ways as possible. Offensively, on the outside, we've got a returning senior, Aiden Banuelos. He got a chance to play a little bit last year. Our quarterback is going to be a junior, Damon Briano. So he's the unknown element, right? He's the unknown part, but he's very athletic, very dynamic with the ball in his hand. And, we got to make sure that he's ready for that big stage, ready for the Friday night lights at the SAC, at Eastwood, at Franklin, at Coronado, wherever it is that we're playing. It doesn't matter. He's got to make sure that as the leader of this team, the maturity is there, right? The accountability is there, and the moxie is there. And that's what we got to preach with those guys. Running the ball, we got two guys coming up that are very dynamic. Our ground and pound guy, Tim Rosales, he played some when our starting running back last year, Isaiah Claudio, went out with tore his ACL. He played some, and man, he looked good. Tim Rosales is a bruiser. He's a bruiser.
Ain't nothing wrong with that if you
nothing
play
wrong
good
with
defense.
That. Yes, sir. And then a sophomore coming up, Gene Palmer, who is very dynamic, very fluid. Man, he was our workhorse last year on the freshman team.
That's kind of your lightning guy, and then
our thunder guy.
Thunder. Gotcha.
Sir. And on the other side, man, we've got one who I think one of the best receivers in this junior class, Adrian Contreras. He's phenomenal. He is. We call him Bullet because he's just one speed, boom, one speed and go. And so those are some of the impact guys. I think as a team, we're a lot more athletic up front than we were last year. And just some of the new things that we installed this spring are going to, level us out with our youth on the offensive side. But our defense, man, all 11 of those guys played last year.
Good deal.
And so they're coming back,
Good deal.
So they're the steady ones. They're the guys that keep us anchored down.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a team being led by the defense. I'll tell you what, especially when you talk about attitude. When I was talking about attitude, tell me what it's going to be like for that young 8th grader who comes over from Slider Middle School, walks into the weight room last week with a bunch of those grown men who are now seniors. What's it going to be like, and what's your program like, taking that from the day he walks into the weight room as a rising freshman until he signs his letter of intent as a senior? Kind of walk me through that progression in your program, Coach.
So the first thing that we talk about with these guys is what we call our brand, right? And so year one for these guys coming in is about learning our brand. We are the toughest, hardest working, most competitive team in Texas.
Gotcha.
They've got an entire year to learn that. And with that comes some of the staples of this program. Our player coach's oath, which is how we are going to play, how we are going to do our job, what we're going to do, right? And what is my goal in doing it. And so when we talk about our player coach's oath, we tell these guys, hey, when you are in here in our weight room, you have to lift with Ram speed and violence. Because for us on the football field, we have to play with Ram speed and violence. So what does Ram speed look like? It means 100% going all out, relentless attitude, and violence. Hey, man, I'm willing to give whatever I can for our program because that's the only way. When you play scared, you get hurt.
Violence is always an option on the table. That's in football. That's why I look at it.
From whistle to whistle.
There you go.
From whistle to whistle, you do what you're told and you do it right. You do it 100%. Just that attacking mentality, right? But when that whistle blows dead, hey, you guys bring them up, whatever it is that you got to do. You're respectful. You treat everybody else with respect. But when that whistle blows and that plays on, hey, man, that dog, that savage mentality has to take over. And so we tell them about showing courage. Showing courage is about doing the right thing, doing everything you can to make sure that you are protecting this house, that you are protecting the brand. And so once we get them through that, we tell them, hey, you always put this family first. This is a family. Our guy who is a senior is not going to come down on you as a freshman. He's not going to, throw you in the showers or do any of that stuff because we don't believe in that stuff, And so they learn all of that. They learn what it takes to be elite. What we call our 3 phases of elite outward mentality. They learn our plan to win, what it takes to win games. They learn that. They learn what we talk about all the time, which is, hey, you're a freshman now, but before you know it, you're going to be a senior, your last spring ball, your last game of the year, and you are going to wish, I should have done more. I wish I could have done that. we talk about all the time. That's something I got from Coach Perales. Time waits for no man. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter who it is. Your mom could tell you that you're great. Your dad could tell you that you're great. Your girlfriend could tell you that you're great. But the only thing that will really measure that is time. Are you great? And that's the only truth you're really going to get on this earth is time. And it waits for nobody, you know? And so a kid going through that is going to hear all that freshman year. He'll hear it again sophomore and junior year. But by the time they get to sophomores, they're not learning it. They're not learning the brand. Right now, they're living it. You got to live it, man.
Yeah.
You've had your training wheel session already. Now, hey, training wheels are off. Here we go. Yeah. This is how we do it. And as a senior, you better dang well defend it. You better defend this place from top to bottom. You better defend your coach. You better defend your teacher. You better defend your brother next to you, because that's all you got. Put this family first. And that's how we do it, man. That's how we do it. It's, you know, that's the culture aspect, right? But when we talk about the number stuff, when we talk about what it is to walk a kid through, man, these kids, I go through and I create data profiles for them that I send off to colleges, strength profiles, and we track everything. Nothing is ever left up to chance. I am deliberate, intentional, thorough with everything that we do, from how many reps they get to how much they rest, to what the speed workout looks like, to what the change of direction workout looks like. And then they get measured every single week. Every single week they get a player profile, and they just see their growth. It's visualization. And those are the things we present to coaches. And, you know, recently I had a couple of coaches scan our prospect sheet, and they're just impressed with how we do it. Very impressed with how we do it. It's a QR code, but in that QR code, you have access to hundreds of different data points.
Awesome.
And that's what matters to those guys.
Yeah, leveraging technology and program. Leveraging technology in a program is definitely the way to go. And you see that from the highest levels to sometimes the lowest levels in youth football. A lot of programs are using a lot of different ways to leverage technology, and that's great. And a lot of the things you talked about early on in that the dialogue about your program leads into our next point: earn your horns.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about, because that's your campaign here. Hey, earn your horns. Just tell me a little bit about that, on what an eighth grader can expect to earn his horns.
So when we talk about earning our horns, that means there is no entitlement in this program. I don't care how long.
Be anywhere,
especially here. It's one of those things where, hey, man, entitlement is a disease, man. Entitlement is the opposite of hard work. You know, I come from a blue collar mentality. I mean, my family of factory workers. That's what I grew up with, and all I know is hard work. I remember my mom waking up at 4 a.m. to make dinner. Like 4 a.m. to make dinner. By the time she gets home, she don't want to cook. She wants to get it done. Boom, set, ready to go. And so that's the mentality that I want to bring here.
Absolutely.
And the mentality that I'm trying to get up to these kids, that I don't care how long you've been in the program. You've got to earn everything in this program. And so earn your horns is something that started here at school, and we've just taken it and embraced it. It starts with our decals. Our decals are ram horns, right? But inside you could see the ghost text on there, and it says "earn them." You know, our shirts, "Earn your brand," "Earn them." Everything, right? We talk about sweeping the shed. You're not big enough, or you're not bigger than anything in this program. Sweep the shed. Clean whatever you got to clean. Keep this program clean, and leave it so clean that you could eat off the floor. And we tell them all the time, eat off the floor. That is what's going to get you where you need to get. Not getting things handed to you. There are no silver spoons or plates of gold here. It is hard work, rolling up your sleeves, clocking in, clocking out. And that's the mentality that I want our kids to have when they get into class, when they go to their English class, to their math class, when they come down here into the weight room. A lot of these kids are scared of hard work because it's hard, and nobody's ever shown them that. And so our goal is to make sure that by the time they are seniors, they earn their horns and they understand, hey, eat off the floor. That's a way of life, man.
Absolutely.
That's a way of life.
Hey, I tell you what, football and sports in general are supposed to be the greatest example of a meritocracy. So definitely there should be zero entitlement in any successful program.
Yes,
and I think some of our greatest championship dynasties, if you will, on lots of levels kind of embody that. So now one of the things that helps a culture like that, and quite honestly helps those young eighth graders, are your leaders that they might not show up on the stat line. I love to talk about them every time I do an interview. The guys who might not score a touchdown the whole season, but he's the leader in your weight room. He's the leader in meetings. He's the guy helping other kids with their algebra homework. Tell me about those guys. Sometimes those are the guys, hey, I had a coach who used to tell me every time I see an underclassman doing something wrong, an upperclassman is really at fault. So tell me about the guys like that, those lunch pail leaders, I like to call them.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what. It starts with our offensive line coach, Coach Paul Halaholo. It starts with him. He's that kind of guy. He's not a rah-rah guy. He's not a stat guy, right? He's our O-line guy. Man, you see him, you're like, oh, this dude breathes O-line. And it starts with him and his ability to transcend that line from coach to man of influence, right, is phenomenal. And those kids eat it up. And that's our O-line guy, man.
If a coach isn't a man of influence, my question is, why is he a coach for us? So I appreciate that. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And so it starts with him, and then it trickles down. And I could say that about all our offensive linemen, from Danny Parra, who is our center, to Sammy Rodriguez, our one of our guards, to Daniel Salas, to Jaden Myers, right? Those guys, man, are hard workers. They embody everything that this program, puts out. They are gritty. They're tough. They work hard. They compete with each other in the weight room. One of our underclassmen has also taken that role, Deshaun King. Man, that kid straps him up. Hey, I'm on rack 1. I don't care if I'm a junior. 3 seniors on here, 1 junior. Hey, let's go. And he's ready to take it on every single day because he embraces it. He embraces that role. And those guys are really a big part of what we do and what we preach. On the defensive side, man, one guy that I could just think off the top of my head, and that's Dwight Jones. He's one of our outside linebackers. Dwight Jones, man, came to us from DeSoto, first year here, and is already about this program, man. We can't kick him out. He is here all day, every day.
Like we said earlier, being a linebacker is about attitude. So
absolutely.
Hey, it's great to have a linebacker with a feel to him like that.
And some of the guys that didn't get a lot of recognition because of who they played behind, Cameron Harrelson and Josh Estrada last year, 2 of our better guys, right? So these guys didn't get a lot of love, but, Matthew Rivas, quiet, all 5'6" of them, but man, stronger than an ox. Josh Steib, played behind Josh Estrada last year. And so, saw the field in different positions, but that kid doing everything he can to make sure that he represents us well. And it starts with guys like that, with those guys there, and everybody else just feeds off of them. We have a great multi-sport guy who does everything that you can ask, that you ask him for. Everything that you ask of him, he'll do. He'll give you that look like, really? You want me to do that? But he'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? He'll do it. And that's Nicky Noho. And he's a monster for us. We moved him down from backer to D-line. And let me tell you, that dude can shoot. He's a scratch golfer, man. And he's a phenomenal golfer for us here at Mount with 2-time regional qualifier. Those are the kind of guys that we have coming through and leading us. And that's what we want. We want those guys, hey, you don't need to go put stuff on social media. Don't be a rah-rah guy. Hey, put your head down, go to work, get what you're supposed to get done because you're supposed to do it. Come back, and then we'll celebrate together with your family.
Outstanding. And you talk about culture. You just talked about celebrating. So let's talk about a little bit. What does game day look for you? Look like for you? Let's start with the wake up. What's your pregame ritual like? You started where? Because I know some guys. Hey, game day starts for me as soon as the alarm goes off. Some guys are like, hey, after school, I kind of start getting in the zone. You take me from game day all the way from pregame rituals up to game. And then post-game, I don't care what you do after a loss, Coach, because we don't care about losses. Tell me about what you do after a big win.
So we'll start with the pregame stuff, man. I wake up every day 4:30, whether we're playing or not, whether it's summer vacation or not, 4:30, because I'm the first one in the office, man. I wake up, shower up, get ready, kiss my son, kiss my wife. Now I've got a future baby on the way, so I give
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Give her a little kiss, and I walk out, man. It's pregame. It's Friday. I'm in the truck because it's a work day. I'm going to work in the truck. And I always got to put Cody Johnson, man. I'm a huge country guy.
Okay.
Cody Johnson. And, the song, I look for 2 songs. Number 1 is Doubt Me Now because it talks about having a chip on your shoulder. And I've been dealt a lot of hands in this life, and I've always been blessed with those hands because I've always worked through it. And till you can't, because to me that's like the anthem, man. You don't stop doing something until you can't. You don't stop calling your mom until you can't. You don't stop showing up to work until you can't. And that's just kind of me. Come down. I'll stop, grab a coffee right here at the Speedway.
Okay. I'm a Circle K coffee kind of guy.
I'm a Circle K guy too. But they take care of us at the Speedway.
There you go.
They take care of us.
Got to take care of people.
Absolutely.
Take care of you.
Yes, sir. Come here. We always meet with our guys, whether it's our freshmen or our staff. We'll meet Friday morning, go through whatever I have to go through during the day. Lunchtime, Friday is Whataburger Friday. We call it Water Busy Fridays, man. Same thing. Myself and our DC and our old co-offensive coordinator, Coach Garcia, used to get Whataburger every Friday. Boom, we set it up. All right, we do whatever we got to do. I always shower to get rid of whatever bad mojo I've had throughout the day.
There you go.
Shower up about 3 o'clock. Come down and I'll sit here. I'll turn on the tunes in the field house. And now we're waiting. I'm waiting. And this is when I start feeling the butterflies. I start getting a little sick, start dry heaving a little bit, just kind of, all right, man, here we go.
Hey, funny, so I don't want to interrupt you. I had a guy also named Coach Rangel Youth, used to throw it before every game. Son plays out of Eastwood. Shout out to Coach Rangel. It must be something about that name.
That name, man. That ain't too many.
It's something. But all right, yes, Coach.
We throw on our shorts and our short sleeve hoodie. I believe in being comfortable as a coach. I don't want to be uptight. I don't want to be, uncomfortable on the bus and all that stuff. So we're in all black because it's an attitude, right? It's a mentality. It's a statement. We're in all black. We're ready to go. We turn off the tunes. We play Creed right before we leave. We play Higher. Okay. That whole Texas Ranger deal. So we started playing that. We walk out. We get all our guys out, and we do what's called the Road to the Rocky Top. Before, we used to cut across through school to get to the buses. Mm-hmm. Now we lock all that stuff up, and I tell them, hey, our road is a long road. It's hard. It's lonely, but it's a time for us to get right in our mind. And I see all these colleges doing their pregame rituals. They go and they tap the Gator in Florida, right? They tap the Rock at Clemson. So we work our way all the way up to the front of the school where Rocky the Ram is, big bronze statue. And we go there. I recite a couple of verses of scripture, kind of what the theme of the week was. We recite our brand. We recite our player coach's oath. And I let them know, hey, this is what we have to do to get this done today. And then we walk all the way around school to the buses. Buses pick us up by the tennis courts, so it's a long walk, but it gets us right. Once we do that, we're ready to go. We sit down. Some of our guys start eating some seeds. Not me. I don't take headphones on the bus. I'm actually looking for pennies on the floor. Heads up pennies on the floor. If I find one, put them in the shoes.
There it is. Okay.
Right. So that's kind of all day. You'll see me walking around looking for pennies. But if I already have one, it's already in there. We get to stadium. Ready to rock and roll, sit down, get our guys out. This year, we're bumping the boom box. We got a custom bump box made for us. Okay. A la San Francisco, a la UT, who just got one done, Nebraska and all them guys. We got a custom one even before those guys did.
Okay.
So we got that, and we're going to bump whatever our kids decide to play that week, and we're ready to go. Pregame, all our guys get going. And I bring our coaches up. We'll pray together a little bit, and we get ready to go and get ready for battle, man.
Okay. All right. What's the post game after the big win?
After the win, man, nothing like breaking bread with your guys.
Okay.
And so I usually always take them to a local restaurant right here, Undisputed. I'll buy them wings. I buy a whole round of wings for everybody. And we just sit there and we break bread together, man. That's the ultimate thing for us. Saturday morning we come back and every coach usually rotates depending on what week it is, and we bring food in and we eat together, kind of reminisce what happened, go over stuff together. But that's what it's all about, man. It's family. Our families join us on Friday nights as well.
That's awesome.
So it's a big old family thing, and I usually take care of everything for us, and so that's the least I could do for those guys, because those guys sacrifice everything with their families to feed this family, right? Got to make sure I take care of all of their families. So
hey, that's what it's all about. Hey, that sounds great. So I always like to end it like this. Hey, take some time. If I was the parent of an upcoming freshman, sell it to me. Why should I bring my child to Montwood High School for education and to play football for Coach Rangel?
That's simple, man. Montwood High School is the brand. This is the brand of excellence for the last 30 years. It's a place where excellence abounds. Montwood High School has been the brand of football on the east side for over 20 years. And it's important for us not to forget that. As somebody coming into this school, don't ever assume that the grass is always greener on the other side. The grass isn't always greener, but it's always green at Montwood. So come by. It's always green at Montwood. We're the toughest, hardest working, most competitive team in Texas. And that's across all our sports. That's across everything that we do here, from our faculty to our staff, to our admin, to our coaches, our parents, our community. This is a place built on tradition, on excellence. That is why we talk about the brand, because it's always green in the Emerald City.
Outstanding. Coach, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you having me out here. Again, the branding out here is beautiful. I'm going to take some pictures, share on the website. Again, thank you for your time, Coach.
I appreciate you, Brent. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you, Coach.
I appreciate you.
Hey, if you got time, can you